Imagine sitting at your desk late at night. Your room is quiet, your notes are open in front of you, and tomorrow you have an important exam. You've been studying for hours, you've read the same pages again and again, highlighted the important sentences, maybe even rewritten parts of your notes. For a moment, it feels like you're doing everything right. It feels like you're working hard enough to succeed. But then the next day comes. You sit in the exam room, you look at the questions, and suddenly your mind goes blank. The information feels familiar, like you've seen it before, but you can't actually remember it. You know you studied it last night. You remember reading it multiple times, but somehow it just won't come back. And that moment feels terrible because it makes you question yourself. You start thinking maybe you're not smart enough. Maybe studying just isn't your thing. Maybe other people are simply better at learning than you are. But here's the truth that most students never hear. The problem isn't you. The problem is the way you've been taught to study. Think about it for a second. Throughout your entire life in school, teachers gave you textbooks, homework, and exams. They told you what to study and when to study, but almost nobody ever explained how studying actually works inside the brain. So most of us end up doing the same thing everyone else does. We reread our notes over and over again. We highlight entire pages. We spend hours staring at the same information, hoping it somehow sticks in our memory. And the strange thing is, it feels productive. Reading something multiple times creates the illusion that we understand it. It feels familiar, and our brain mistakes that familiarity for learning. But familiarity is not memory. You can recognize something without truly remembering it. That's why so many students feel confident while studying, but panic during exams, because the method they're using is passive. Their brain is simply looking at information instead of actively working with it. Real learning happens when your brain struggles a little. Instead of constantly reading your notes, try something different. Close the book and ask yourself a simple question. What did I just learn? Try to explain the idea out loud, even if you're alone in your room. Pretend you're teaching it to a friend or to someone who knows nothing about the topic. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. You'll forget things. You'll pause and realize you can't explain parts of it clearly. But that struggle is exactly what helps your brain remember. Every time you try to pull information out of your memory, you strengthen the pathway to that information. Your brain starts building stronger connections, making it easier to remember the next time. It's similar to training a muscle at the gym. The effort and resistance are what create growth. There's another mistake that almost every student makes. We try to learn everything in one long session. We sit down for 3 or 4 hours, sometimes even longer, believing that more time automatically means better results. But the brain doesn't store memories efficiently that way. Memory becomes stronger when information is revisited over time. Instead of cramming everything into a single night, study something today and then review it again tomorrow. Come back to it a few days later and then once more the following week. Each time you return to the information, your brain rebuilds and strengthens that memory. Eventually, it becomes something you don't just recognize, but something you truly know. This is the difference between studying harder and studying smarter. The students who seem like they have perfect memory usually aren't studying more hours than everyone else. They're simply using methods that work with the brain instead of against it. They test themselves instead of rereading. They review information across multiple days instead of trying to memorize everything in one sitting. And because of that, they remember more while feeling less stress. So if you've ever felt frustrated while studying, if you've ever spent hours with your books only to forget everything the next day, remember this. It doesn't mean you're bad at learning. It just means nobody ever showed you the right way. Once you understand how learning really works, studying stops feeling like a constant struggle. It becomes faster, clearer, and surprisingly more effective. Because the real secret to studying isn't about working harder than everyone else. It's about understanding how your brain learns, and finally, using that knowledge to your advantage. Please don't forget, like, and subscribe for more videos. Goodbye.